people. Hope everyone is good. So, the Bundesliga 2 are two leagues which I probably watch more than any, to be honest. So, this has been my favourite video to make, I can't lie. But with that, Leeds United, I believe, will be looking, at least in the Bundesliga 2, of course, looking for some talents in the Bundesliga as well that are maybe not getting as many minutes that can affect the Championship and take us to the Premier League. It's a league we'll look at, both of them. They're two good leagues. They're very solid in terms of what type of player you need to be there. They have a physical side to it, they have a technical side to it, so I think it really works. This is a long list. Here are the key ones from that list, which I think Leeds United could get and would be excellent additions to our side. Let's go. The first one is Nathan Ngaumu. Now, this is probably one of the... You know, when we were in, was it Silas or Silas from Stuttgart, I believe? Now, this is that type of profile winger, exactly the same profile of winger, right-sided winger who's very quick, very direct, very decent 1v1 dribbler, has a bit of flair to him, very aggressive attacking. But I think for me, Silas, was it Silas or Silas, you know what I mean, is a step too far. So who fits that profile? Who is the type of winger who you can look at that maybe is gettable? Will be tough, but maybe is gettable if you are very ambitious and bad the project for them. And for me, it's this guy. Plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach currently. Last season in the Bundesliga, 32 appearances, but most of them were not starts. That's the important part of this. Got 2 assists and 5 goals. And like I said, this one will be hard, but it's a statement hard for me. It's one that isn't, I don't know, I'm not in and out of the club, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's absolutely impossible. Maybe it is, maybe I'm wrong. But this type of player, this caliber, I've already done some wingers before in the Eredivisie. This type of winger, I'd love this type of winger. Realism 6 out of 10, like I said, difficult. Came through the youth ranks at Toulouse. Got his move to Borussia Mönchengladbach in 22-23. Which means he played under Daniel Farke for a season. I checked that season, didn't have a great season. He was used a lot off the bench. Daniel Farke knows the player. And did make a comment on the player about him during that, and he did actually say he's a good player, very talented, but a bit too young and needs to get used to the system more. So maybe he's a player he'll bring in. It's one to watch for me. I think it's an ambitious one, but one you could probably do. Not a bad season in front of goal, you know, in about not a lot of starts at all. French winger for me. He'd light up the Championship 100%. I'd love this one. Someone like this type of name I'd love it, honestly. Yeah, I'll go through his stats here. I'll move my head, make my head a little smaller for you. Strengths, raw pace, direct, aggressive play. Like, you can imagine it. You know exactly the type of winger I'm thinking of. Finding attacking spaces, 1v1 wing play. Always looking for the forward pass as well. Something I quite like about him when he gets the ball. Not only is he looking forward with the ball to drive with it, but actually where's the pass? Can I create passing movements? And this makes him raw, like I said, an improvement. He is very raw. I know he's 24, he's not like 18, 19, but that's his play style, kind of similar to Rutter in that sense, where he will try things, he will do things. A lot of the time it will work, sometimes it won't. He's that type of winger, that flair winger, that luxury winger that can give you so much, though. Not luxury in the sense that he doesn't do the other bits, he does. He's a hard-working player as well, from what I've seen. So, cleanness, I don't know if that's a word or if I spell it right, I don't know. But that end product, just defining that end product is something needs to improve. And he's got all the attributes behind that for me. A little bit of rawness in there. But just needs to clean that end product, and consistency, that's part of it, right? He's not played consistently in the starting 11 for 2 years now, so that's definitely something you can improve. But playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach, fighting for the top 10 in the Bundesliga and Europe a few years ago is different to the Championship. With a lot, you know, as well as the Championship is a really good league, it's very different in a defensive capacity in terms of fullbacks for me. I think the fullbacks are very different in the Championship. I think a lot of them are either one of ultra attacking or very defensive, whereas the Bundesliga has a nice balance of fullbacks that can do a bit of both. But yeah, anyway, the next one. I really wanted this guy last summer. I really did. When we were linked with him, I was so happy. So happy. We got Gruev, and I was alright with Gruev. But I really wanted Deo Tanaka. And I really do now. Dusseldorf failed to get promoted to the Bundesliga in the playoff. 25 years old, centre midfielder. If anyone's not heard of him, he's been linked loosely this season I wanted him literally a year ago when we went down. You know, and the links to the centre midfielders, there were a few in there, and Ayrton Taka stood out. Like, yes, that's the one. A really good player, a really balanced player. Like I said, came through Japan, the Japan side in Kawasaki. Realism, I put 6 out of 10. I just think there'll be a lot of Bundesliga clubs wanting him. Maybe top Bundesliga clubs. Maybe not as a starter for them, obviously, a squad player, but would 100% be a starter for me. 7 from centre mid, by the way. This is central 8 territory, not number 10. 4 assists and 7 goals from centre mid in 30 appearances. He's ridiculous. He's probably one of the most balanced players I've seen. Yeah, I love this guy. And this is why I love this list, because there's so much good players in here that I really enjoy. And always with that Daniel Farke link to that German sides, you think they're a bit more possible. Strengths can play CM, CDM, and can play them all. His role in the side is freedom. He does the bits in the middle for the most game, but he can also drop deeper and do the bits. And he can, the final third, as you can see by his goals and assists, he's effective in those as well. Off the ball movement. The one best thing about Ayrton Taka, he's not the biggest guy, he's not the quickest guy, but he's so smart that he doesn't need that. Do you know, in the sense that Aronson's not big, so he kind of needs that understanding of where to be so he can avoid those kind of physical fights. Ayrton Taka knows that. He's already got that. This guy is unbelievably good at checking his shoulders, understanding where he is on the pitch, where he needs to be. Like, really good at that, trust me. He understands the game so well. His ball control's excellent on the ball. He's really good, obviously. All around solid performer, consistency. Such a consistent player. So consistent. And we need that. I think he'd be so good for us. I like our midfield, I do. But he's just a bit of all of them in one. I know it sounds like I'm overhyping him. No, like, he might not have the heights of Gruev in CDM where he makes these ridiculous tackles. But in midfield, he's a good ball progressor. He gets forward and he attacks the box in the final third and gets goals and assists. Like I said here, improvements, it was tough, I'll be honest. I love that. I love this player. I think he's really good. I'm sorry. Playing at this level, he's not done it. Championship, not done it. I don't know. Is that an improvement? Adaptation. And defensive solidarity. Now, he's not a bad defender by any means. He's just not a brute. He's not someone that's going to mop up 15, 20 tackles a game, you know, and that's a lot anyway. And recover from defensive mistakes and all this stuff. Probably not that. He is an 8. He can play there. He can drop into the 6, not necessarily as a 6, but can drop into that position and receive the ball. But yeah, Ayo Tanaka, guys, you've probably heard of him. The name's been going around a lot. I wanted him last year really bad, and it'll be tough this time. The boat might have sailed, the ship, whatever the saying is. I'll be honest with you. He's had another really good season, like he had last season. But let's see. Probably not, but let's see. I don't know. The third one, another player, and if anyone's followed me, Andrea and Joe, me and Andrea have been talking about this guy for about 15 years now. Laszlo Benes, again, centre midfielder who can play in different roles in that position. Look at his heat map. You know, 25 years old in the Bundesliga 2 last season, got 27 appearances, 11 assists and 13 goals. That's a goal or assist every game he played. Come on. And look at his numbers from last season as well, people. Very similar. He's done it for 2 years in a row. What a player. What a player. Another one like Ayo Tanaka. And again, if anyone's watched the channel, I think this guy's featured in about 4 or 5 videos. I absolutely love this player. And I'm more passionate about these players because, like I said, I watch the Bundesliga. It's on YouTube, people. It's there, so you can watch it all. It's live on YouTube on the Bundesliga channel. So it's an entertaining league. Genuinely, it's really good. There's some really good talent in there. So I'd advise it. I really would. They play the games on YouTube. The top teams, they play them on YouTube. So yeah, you don't need to buy any software or anything. It's on YouTube. Yeah, went to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, did get sold the season Farke went. I don't know whether that was a Farke decision or it was a club decision. Probably a club decision. And went on loan. He's been to Augsburg. He's been to many places. Got bought in 2022 by Hamburg. Has been there now since then. And has put up ridiculous numbers each season he's been there. Probably the most obvious player to sign. Is it tough? Yeah, it will be now. He's had another good season. There's probably Bundesliga teams wanting him, to be honest. 25 years old. Is he 25? He might be 26. I think he's 26. Slovakia international is currently there with the national side. Not played yet. Good, because that'll just up his value. This guy's an excellent player. What else can I say? That central midfielder who can go forward and get up ridiculous end product, as you've seen. Really effective, obviously, around the box, but also in deeper areas. As I'll go into the strengths and weaknesses or improvements now. Maybe a bit bigger. Can play centre mid or cam. Again, that versatility that we require in our side. It's the profile of player we don't have. It's a midfielder, an attacking 8. One we don't have, with proven end product in goals and assists. And look at his goals, people. Some of them are on the edge of the box, strikes, he can hit a ball. We don't have that. Some of them are breaking into the box, tap-ins. We don't have that from midfield. Set pieces, he takes set pieces, he's good at set pieces. This is the key we don't have. This is it. This is the player for me, personally. But maybe I'm completely wrong. But I think this one's so gettable. Maybe more last year, before he had another excellent season. It probably will be top tier teams, to be honest, this year. But come on, you've got to sell the project to these guys. Got to. These are the ambitious players I want us to sign. And I've been safe with these. There's a lot of Bundesliga players that are maybe, that have had not played too much, like the Amiri type characters that I thought we could have got in, but I've not gone for them. I've been safer, to be honest with you. I've got rid of a few. I didn't even put them on the original list because I just didn't want to. But progressive passes again. This guy's a decent dribbler in terms of ball control. He can take a guy on. He's not quick. He's not an ultra quick player, but he's so neat with the ball. He can also pass it really well. And he almost too much at times. He just try a lot of forward progressive passes, but that's why he's got so many assists. But that is also why he does lose the ball at times because of that. But that's the risk, isn't it? And that's what type of play you need in that role at times for me. If you have a good, solid shape behind them, that's fine. You can recover the ball quickly. Understanding the form of the attack. So, again, knowing where the attack is. Knowing as well the responsibility on him that he is going to be a key part of that attack. That is something I love about him. You know, the responsibility to consistently do it every game. I didn't even put consistency on here. Like, he's played 27 times and got 26 goal involvements, people. Is it 26? Well, 24 and 27. Like, come on. It's almost a goal or assist every single game from centre midfield. He's got end product. He's got it. He's got it. I'm sorry. I'd love him for Leeds United. I would love him. He is, for me, that kind of... And maybe there's other alternatives out there, of course. And maybe we're not looking. Maybe we don't need this type of player. Maybe Farke doesn't think we need it. Maybe we have different types of wingers that can do that role. Fine. But if we are needing that role, a progressive 8 that can get goals and assists, set pieces, scores from different types of goals, a ball progressor, this is your man. This is the one for me. It's so hard to do improvements. Obviously, like I can do like in-game improvements that players should do, and pass accuracy needs to be higher. He needs to improve his pass accuracy and stuff like that, and maybe defensive solidarity movements defensively, you know, interceptions. I can do all that, but as a general whole, I'm not going to put every player's strength and every weaknesses because that's just boring and takes ages. So I put the ones that just stand out as real glaring. Just the risky passes can be a lot, and he does lose the ball a lot from that. When he loses the ball, it's usually from that. And one or two times as well, in tight areas, he does try something. It doesn't work, but the output is the output. You can't deny the output, can you? Laszlo Benes, get him, please, Leeds United. I love this player at Leeds. Will be tough now, but I'd love it. The fourth one. Now, I know what you're saying. This guy was bad. Yes. Came through very young at Everton. Was alright for a small period, I believe. And now, let me just clarify with John Joe Kenny. John Joe Kenny had had two very good seasons at Hertha Berlin. Or at least last season, he was very, very good. I'm looking at fans, what they're thinking of him. They expect him to leave. They're sad at that for the most part from what I've seen. They really like him there. He's had a very good season. Very solid, strong right back. This is an option, definitely. Can't always have these beautiful flair players. Sometimes you need solid options. Maybe he's an option, not a guaranteed starter. In 29 appearances in the Bundesliga too, for Hertha Berlin this season, he's got 6 assists and 3 goals. It's definitely gettable. I don't think you pay a lot. 27 years old and has had so much experience, and for me, has improved weaknesses he's had to some extent. I like what I've seen this season, and Hertha Berlin are literally on YouTube every week when they play people. So again, Jonjoe Kenny has been a solid performer for them. He has. He's been a really solid performer. I like his energy, his tenacity, his willingness to defend as well. That is key against good wingers. He's a decent 1v1 defender. He's a decent defender in a back four. His defensive solidarity is good. Been on loan a lot, found a home, done really well there. Ready to come back to Championship. But he's not playing the Championship, but ready to come back to England. Let's see. 27 years old. Overall, solid fundamentals. Safe on the ball. Progressive passes. Looks for progressive movements as well, which is good. He's a good crosser. The amount of times I've been frustrated with... I know we're not a team that relies really on, like, fundamentally just crossing. We're not. It's good to have that option, right, in a fullback who can get a ball into a box, because there is times where we do that, and we have scored goals from that. So many frustrating times where the crosses have been bad. The detail on the cross as well is good, because I've seen him cutbacks. He's pretty good. He's got assists from that this season. Also, you know, deeper crosses as well into an area. Do that. Set pieces is not bad as well. Again, having someone of that role, of that ilk that we don't have. Good reading of the game defensively. Stuff we need, people. Not every player needs to be flair. Not every player needs to be outrageous. They need to be solid, strong, and progressive in the side. Connor Roberts is a good example of that, in terms of not an exciting, quick player, but the type of name that you need in a side, just like Jonjoe Kenny for me. As a player in the squad, I think it's a really good player. How good will he be? That remains to be seen. He's been very good for the last 2 years for Hertha Berlin, especially this season, where, from what I've seen anyway, if there's any Hertha fans that do happen to watch this, let me know, please. I'd really appreciate that, genuinely. But I've watched about maybe, 7 or 8 Hertha games this season, and he's been just solid in all of them. Not got beaten easily, not looked out of place, not looked bad. Been part of the build-up as well in attacking sense. I like him. Improvements, attacking output. Again, more in the terms of getting on the ball and moving with it. He's a very good passer mover. He'll give the ball and find the space and receive it, which is good. But that progressive side of it, just a little bit. Be a bit more brave with it. And again, if that's not his game, that's fine. But be a little more brave with it at times. But again, you've got to remember systems and how teams play and how much the manager allows these guys to get forward. That's part of it as well. But yeah, Jonjoe Kenny, people, let me know. And you can't take into consideration how good he was or bad he was 3 or 4 years ago in the Premier League and at Celtic, because I'll tell you about Ivan Ampadu, who was heavily criticised as a younger player at Sheffield United. There's so many players I can talk to you about that weren't good a few years ago that are now turning into good players. Sometimes players mature and it takes them to go abroad to actually find who they are as a player and find the best version of themselves. And maybe Jonjoe Kenny, at this level we're at right now, is a key thing to say. It's the type of player we need in that position. There's also his English, so it'd fit perfectly. You know, there's not that adjustment period. It's there. It's there for me. If the price is right, I think it's a solid option, genuinely. Honourable mentions, and these are important. Like, these are not ones I've just, nah. These are just ones I don't think we'll get based on either players I've already got in there or the position. So left back, these two guys, Muheim and Merkin, I couldn't decide which one to put in, so I put none in because we have Junior Firpo, and I believe he will stay. And if he stays, they won't start over him, so there'd be a backup. But if Junior Firpo was to leave and we are shopping in this market, obviously in other leagues and other regions, there's other left backs, but in this, as achievable options, these two guys are really good at this level. They've both had good seasons for Schalke and Hamburg, respectfully. Yeah, Derry Merkin is a... They both have questions defensively. They're very similar in that sense to Firpo. They can be left lacking a bit defensively, especially in certain situations. But Derry Merkin is a very quick, aggressive player who can get forward well and likes to invert and overlap. You can do both from that position. You'll get a shot, you'll get an early crossing. Very aggressive in the way he attacks. And Mario Muheim, kind of less of an athlete, but more of a technical fullback who has a good strike on him. More fundamental, if that makes sense. More of a fundamental player, more of a safe player. But both very good in their own right. Centre midfield, Ludovic Rice, or Reese. Probably heard of him. So he used to be at Barca. He's been around some good sides. He's been very good for Hamburg this season. And he's expected to leave. He's a centre midfielder. But of course, I already had 2 in here, so I didn't want to put 3 in. But he in some ways, he's a different player to those 2 in here, Laszlo Benez and Tanaka. But he's just as good in his own way for me. In terms of his quality, he's just as good. Ludovic Rice or Reese. Yeah, good player. Very good player. One I'd absolutely love at Leeds United again. Again, links to Bundesliga. It won't be in the Bundesliga too. There was a shock that he was actually in there this season. You know, that he actually stayed and was part of that side. But yeah, Schinter Appelkamp, whatever. Fortuna Dusseldorf. Again, same team as Ayo Tanaka. Now, this guy's interesting. Again, more of an attacking midfielder. But why I put this guy in, a decent fundamental player. Nothing that screams unbelievable or anything, but a fundamentally strong player. But what this guy is, he's a set-piece specialist. I believe he's got 13 assists this season, most of which are set pieces or crosses. This is exactly what we don't have. And I mean, he's a specialist. That's where all of his goals come from. Direct free kicks, crosses from free kicks, corners. That's where his goals come. His goal contributions come from. Decent strike on him as well. He is that player we don't have. The reason I didn't put him in is because I believe the other guys are better all around in terms of all around player. You know, Laszlo Benez and Ayo Tanaka are more better all around. This guy is a decent, tidy player in the final third, of course, decent deep just to progress the ball. But he's fundamentally a set-piece specialist, and a very good one at that. Maybe an option. I don't know. I like him, though. Wingers, again, just didn't get in based on I've already got. I had my guy in there, so just put them in. But Tim Shark, yeah. Or Shakar, whatever. Darmstadt in the Bundesliga. Got about 7 or 8 goals in the Bundesliga this season, I think. For a bad side. Can play right wing and striker. Very small, compact, but quick, aggressive runner with the ball. Decent cutting in and having a strike. That type of profile we're looking for. He'd be one I'd like. Again, just didn't get in based on the other guys I have in there, but I like him. Good player. Fabian Rees. Again, Hertha Berlin. I believe he's got like 13 goals, 8 assists this season from a winger, something like that. It's ridiculous. It might even be more. He's had a very good season as a winger. Very good. The only reason I haven't put him in is because he's only really done it for 1 season at that level. And the fact that he's a different type of winger. He's very big. He's a very tall winger, very strong winger, very aggressive winger. But a very good player. And then the final one, striker centre forward, Armando Osieb from Goethe Thruff. Striker. Got a few goals this season in the Bundesliga for a bad side. Big striker. Strong striker, quick striker, can finish. Good striker. Just go watch him. Guys, I'm not going to spend too long on these guys, but good players. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Any names you want to put in there? Like I said, I've tried to be realistic. Some of them probably are hard to get, but you never know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate support on these videos. Genuinely, you're all legends. And please like. Don't forget to that. Just I know. Please like. It just helps. All right. I'm sorry I have to ask. It just helps. All right. Peace.